Competition over the Arctic's vast natural resources is taking a new twist. China and India, states hardly associated with the North Pole, are joining forces with 4 other nations that have been awarded permanent observer status to the Arctic Council. And to talk more on these cold calculations, I'm now joined in the studio by RT News editor Ivor Crotty. Ivor, great to see you again.
Hi, Julia.
So tell us more about this heated competition around this area and the role of the Arctic Council itself.
Sure. Well, the Arctic Council is a body that that comprises all of the Arctic countries, as it were, all countries whose borders are exposed to the Arctic. Today, the Council meets every 2 years in a very kind of punctual way. Today, the Council admitted 6 new observers to its body, including perhaps somewhat controversially China, India, also Singapore, South Korea, Japan and Italy all joined the body in some official capacity today. But the problem is that everybody's very interested in what may lie beneath the Arctic, perhaps not as much as what may lie on the sea surface. And what we're seeing is a lot of jockeying, a lot of posturing around the Arctic from countries who have legitimate territorial claims across the area. For example, Russian scientists recently placed the Russian flag on the North Pole on the seabed. What we're seeing now is other countries expressing their interest in getting involved in the Arctic, but no one's quite sure how to arrange or how to divide up this enormous Arctic pie. It's estimated that 22% of the Earth's natural resources lie in the Arctic area. So as you can understand, people are very interested in having their say and being able to influence what goes on there. We've seen a couple of proposals. The first proposal about dividing up the Arctic. The first proposal suggests that the Arctic should be divided according to border exposure or coastline exposure to the Arctic. The other, which is proposed by the US, which is a full-time member of the Council, is to create an international zone in which other nations may participate and may lead projects and may exploit the Arctic's resources. Now, the US position is one that some see as opening Pandora's box, in that it would allow multiple parties enter the Arctic area and would undermine the ability of Arctic countries to control, genuine Arctic countries, to control their own Arctic environment.
Yeah, so probably according to that principle, China, as well as other countries like India, who basically have nothing to do with the Arctic, are getting involved in this pie sharing thing.
Yeah, it may seem so that they have little reason to be involved in it, but I'll give you I'll posit you this: FMCG, fast-moving consumer goods. Now, the vast majority of consumer goods that are being supplied to European markets, for example, come from Asia. They're made in Asia and they're sold to European markets. Now, I'm thinking like iPhones, iPads, televisions. The whole panoply of electronic goods, particularly. Yeah. Now think of those. If suppliers could reduce the time it takes to ship those to European markets by weeks, it would basically mean more profits and more cash. So there are great economic interests in freeing up in investing in and securing a Arctic shipping route from Asia to Europe. But there's also the question of resources, and we're seeing China in particular expand its exploration in the area. They've opened, or they created a free trade partnership with Iceland and signed that last month, which is the first of its kind, and promised to build a port in Greenland as well. So we're seeing some of the economic giants getting involved there and building bases from which they'll probably be able to expand their Arctic exploration.
Right, but how is it actually being shared? Can we say that the more global influence you have, the bigger piece you can get? What do you think? And what about the EU here?
Tough question, yeah. We don't know yet. As I said, they still don't have a plan for how to divide up this potentially enormous, lucrative resource pie. However, we did see today that lines were beginning to be drawn. As the Council expanded, Canada blocked the EU's application for observer status. And that's very, very surprising. The EU Catherine Ashton has issued a somewhat apologetic press release for not having secured the membership for the EU. But this goes back to an EU ban on seal meat and seal furs in 2009. Canada believes that banning this undermines the interests of the indigenous people of the Arctic. So there's a bit of push and pull going on.
All right. Is it fair to say that every member of the Council would like to get a bigger share, since no decision on the Arctic has been taken yet, as you say? What do they do to secure their positions in the area then?
Well, I guess they build bases, build ports, they invest. There's also events such as, for example, the Russian submarine placing the flag on the seabed at the North Pole. For example, if we look at promises made by current Canadian Prime Minister Harper back in 2005 in opposition, he pledged up to $5 billion Canadian dollars in Arctic projects, including new icebreakers and a deep-sea port. And I think what we'll probably see is bases, ports, and perhaps pipelines.
All right. Interesting story.
Thank
you
you
very much. Thank you.